Hi everyone. I guess like promised, we're still studying the CDL manual, and we're going to section 2, which is driving safely, and it has all the different subjects that we're going to be talking today. I'm going to wear my glasses, by the way. And the subjects we're going to be talking today are going to be vehicle inspection, basic control of your vehicle, shifting gears, seeing, communicating, space management, controlling your speed, seeing hazards, distracted driving, aggressive drivers / road rage, night driving and driving fatigue, driving in fog, winter driving, hot weather driving, railroad, highway crossings, mountain driving, driving emergency, anti-lock braking system, speed control and recovery, accident procedures, fire, alcohol, other drugs and driving, and hazardous material rules. So this is all in section 2. This is why I need to cut this how is it called, this learning process with you guys and me, because I'm learning as you guys are through. I'm also learning with you guys at the same time, because I'm planning to get my CDLs. So just showing you guys what I'm learning, and like I said, go through the video all over again as many times as you guys need to and memorize it. We're going to start this section. So let me put this on because excuse me, it's hot out here, but I wanted to be outside today, so it's just a way of feeling better outside than inside at the moment right now. It says this section contains knowledge and safe driving information that all commercial drivers should know. You must pass a test on this information to get your CDL. So you must have to pass a test on this one. This section does not have any specific information on air brakes, combination vehicles, double or passenger vehicles. When preparing for the vehicle inspection test, you must review the material in section 11 in addition to the information in this section. This section does not have basic information on hazardous materials / hazmat that all drivers should know. If you need a hazmat endorsement, you should study section 9. So, vehicle inspection. Why inspect? Safety is the most important reason you inspect your vehicle. Safety for yourself and for others, road users. A vehicle defect found during an inspection could save you problems later. You can have a breakdown on the road that will cost time and dollars, or even worse, a crash can cost by the defect. A crash caused by a defect. Federal and state law requires that drivers inspect their vehicle. Federal and state inspector also may inspect your vehicle if they judge the vehicle to be unsafe. They will put it out of service until it is fixed. So types of vehicle inspection is section 2.1.2. So, vehicle inspection. A vehicle inspection will help you find problems that can cause a crash or breakdown. During a trip or safety, you should watch your gauges for signs of trouble. I'm not sure if I pronounced that thing right. So, I could have pronounced it wrong, but it's GAUGES, gauges. Use your sense to check your problems. Look, listen, smell, and feel. So, check critical items when you stop. Tires, wheels, rims, brakes, lights, reflectors, brake and electrical connection to trailers, trailer coupling devices, cargo securement devices. After trip inspection and report, you should do an after trip inspection at the end of the trip, day or tour of duty on each vehicle you operate. It may include filling out a vehicle condition report listing any problems you find. The inspection report helps the motor carrier know when the vehicle needs a repair and what to look for. Tire problems, for example, too much or too little air pressure. Bad wear. You need at least 4/32 inches thread depth in every major groove on your front tire. You need 2/32 inches on the other tires. No fabric should show through the thread or side walls. Cuts or other damages. Thread and separation. Dual tires that come in contact with each other or parts of the vehicle. Mismatches size. Radial and bias ply tires used together. Cut out cracked valve seams. These are things that may be wrong. Regroove, recaped or retreaded tires on the front wheel of a bus are prohibited. Wheels and rim problems. So that's another one. Damaged rings. Rust around the wheel nut may mean the nuts are loose. Check tightness. After a tire has been changed, stop a short while later and recheck tightness of nuts. Missing clamps, spacers, studs, or lug mean danger. Mismatched, bent, or cracked lock rings are dangerous as well. Wheels or rims that have been welding repair are not safe. Bad brake drums or shoes. Okay, so cracked drums, shoes or pads with oil, grease, or brake fluids on them. Shoes worn dangerously thin, missing or broken. Then the steering system defect. Missing nuts, bolts, cotter keys, or other parts. Bent, loose, or broken parts such as steering columns, steering gear, or tie rods. If power steering equipment, check hose, pumps, and fluid level. Check for leak. Steering wheels play off more than 10 degrees, approximately 2 inches. Movement of the rim of a 20-inch steering wheel can make it harder to steer. So it also has images here that I will show you after I'm done reading. It's not much more. So the suspension system defect. The suspension system holds up the vehicle and its load. It keeps the axles in place. Therefore, a broken suspension part can be extremely dangerous. Look for spring hangers that allow movement of axle from proper position, and then it says see figure 2.2, which I will also show you. Crack or broken spring hangers, missing or broken leaves in any leaf springs. If 1/4 of or more are missing, it will put the vehicle out of service, but any defect could be dangerous. And then it shows you to see the image 2.3, which I'm going to show you right now. So here is the image that they're showing you, and this is the first one, and then the second one is up here. I'll try to keep it hold, and then the third one is right there. So those are like examples of what you need to look into. Make sure that that is not like the picture or so, or anywhere close to that. So that is the part that you need to know of, meaning we need to know of. Also, it has in the next page it says broken leaves in a multi-leaf spring, or leaf that leaf shifted so they might hit a tire or other parts. Leaking shock absorbents, torque rods or arms, U-bolts, spring hangers, and other axle position parts that are cracked, damaged, or missing. air suspension system that are damaged or leaking, and then it shows you another figure, which I also will be showing to you here. Okay, right here. This is the other one. Let's see if I can put my hand behind it, look a little darker. So it shows you like which one is the high control valve, the frame, and all that stuff. Any loose, crack, broken, or missing frame members. Exhaust system defect. A broken exhaust system can let poison fumes into the cap or sleeper berth. Look for loose, broken, or missing exhaust pipe, mufflers, tailpipes, or vertical stacks. Loose, broken, or missing mounting brackets, clamps, bolts, or nuts. Exhaust system parts rubbing against fuel system parts, tires, or other moving parts of vehicle. Exhaust system parts that are also leaking. Emergency equipment. Vehicles must be equipped with emergency equipment. Look for fire extinguisher, spare electrical fuses, unless equipment with circuit breaker. Warning devices for parking vehicles, for example, 3 reflective warning triangles of 6 fuses or 3 liquid burning flares. Cargo trucks. It means cargo and then / truck. You must make sure that the truck is not overloaded and the cargo is balanced and secure before each trip. If the cargo contains hazardous material, you must inspect for proper paper and placarding. So then we go to CDL, vehicle inspection test. In order to obtain a CDL, you will be required to pass a vehicle inspection test. You will be tested to see if you know whether your vehicle is safe to drive. You will be asked to do a vehicle inspection of your vehicle and explain to the examiner what you would inspect and why. The following 7-step inspection method should be useful. 7-step inspection method. Step 1, method of inspection. You should do a vehicle inspection the same day each time, so you will learn all the steps and be less likely to forget something. 2, approaching the vehicle. Notice general condition. Look for damage or vehicles leaning to one side. Look under the vehicles for fresh oil, coolant, grease, or fuel leaks. Check the area around the vehicle for hazards to vehicle movement. People, other vehicles, objects, low-hanging wire, limbs, and etc. on. Vehicle inspections guide. Step 1. Vehicle overview. Review last vehicle inspection report. Drivers may have to make a vehicle inspection report in writing each day. The motor carrier must repair any items in the report that affect safely and certified on the report that repairs were made or were unnecessarily. You must sign the report only if your defects were noted and certified to be repaired or not needed to be repaired. Step 2. Check engine compartments. Check that the parking brakes are on or on wheel chocked. You may have to raise the hood. Hold on, my pages are covering me. It's windy, so right, let me just tie it up here. We don't want them flying away. We need these. Okay, so check that the parking brakes are on and or the wheel locks. You may have to raise the hood, tilt the cap, secure loose things so they don't fall or break something, or open the engine compartment door. Check the following as well. Engine oil level, coolant level in radiator, condition of hose, power steering fluid level, hose condition, if so equipped. Windshield washer fluid level, battery fluid level, connection and tie downs. Battery may be located elsewhere. Automatic transmission fluid level may require engine to be running. Check belts for tightness and excessive wear. Alternator, water pump, air compressor. Learn how much Give the belt should have when adjusted right, and check each one. Leak in the engine compartment: fuel, coolant, oil, power steering fluid, hydraulic fluid, battery fluid, crack, worn electrical wiring insulation. Lower and secure hood, cap, or engine compartment door. That was all step 2. Now step 3 is start engine and inspect inside the cab. Get in and start engine. That's what it tells you to do. So make sure brake is on. Put gear shift in neutral or park it automatic. Start engine. Listen for unusual noises. If equipped, check the anti-lock braking system. ABS indicator lights on dash should come working properly for the trailer only. If the yellow light on the left rear or the trailer stays on, the ABS is not working properly. So if you see a yellow light, not working properly. Look at the gauges. Oil pressure should come up for normal within seconds after engine is started. And then air pressure should build from 50 to 90 psi within 3 minutes. Build air pressure for governor cut out usually around 120 to 140 psi, and then know your vehicle's requirement as well. Ammeter and or voltmeter should be in normal range. Coolant temperature should be gradual rise to normal operating range. Engine oil temperature should be gradual rise to normal operating range. Warning lights and buzzers, oil coolant, charging circuit warning, and anti-lock brake system light should go out right away. And then it says check conditions of control. Check all of the following for loosened, sticking, damage, or improper settings: steering wheel, clutch, accelerator, gas pedal, that's the accelerator, brake control, foot brakes, trailer brake if vehicle has one, parking brake, retarded control. There's a retarded control if vehicle has them, transmission control, interaxle differential lock if vehicle has one, horns, windshield wipers, windshield washer, light, headlights, dimmer switch, turn signal, four-way flasher, parking clearance, identification marker, and switches. So you have to check all of those. So it shows you a figure 2 to 5, which is the oil pressure, and I want you to see it so you won't miss it. Try to keep it steady for you. Okay. So it says oil pressure, idling, operating, low, dropping, fluctuating, stop immediately. Without oil, the engine can be destroyed rapidly. So that's what it's showing you there. It says check mirrors and windshield. Inspect mirrors and windshield for cracks, dirt, illegal stickers, or other obstructions to see clearly. Clean and adjust as necessarily. Check emergency equipment. Check for safety equipment. Spare electrical fuses unless vehicle has circuit breakers. 3 red reflected triangles, 6 fuses, and 3 liquid burning flares. Properly charge and rate fire extinguisher. Check for optional items such as chains where winter conditions require, tire changing equipment, list of emergency phone numbers, accidental report kit, package. Check safety belts. Check the safety belt is secure, mounted, adjust, latch properly, and not ripped off, frayed. Curbside cargo compartment door in good condition, secure closed, latches, locks, and requires security seals in place. The right gear. Conditions of wheels and rims, no missing bent or broken space, studs, clamps, or lugs. Conditions of tire: properly inflated, valve steam, and caps okay. No serious cuts, bulge, thread wear, tire not rubbing each other, and nothing stuck between them. Tires same type, not mixed, radius, and bias type. Tires evenly match, same size. Wheel bearings seal, not leaking. Suspension: conditions of springs, spring, hangers, shackles, and U-bolts. Axle secure, proper axles, not leaking. Loop, gear, oil conditions, or torque rod arms. Bushings: conditions of shock absorbers. If retractable axles equipment, check conditions of lift mechanism. If air power, check for leak. Conditions of air ride components: brakes, brake adjustments. Conditions of brake drums or discs. Condition of hose: look for any wear due to rubbing. Lights and reflectors: side markers, light clean operators in proper color, red at rear, other amber. Side marker reflector clean in proper cold, red at rear, others amber. Rear lights and reflector, rear clearance and identification lights, clean operating in proper color, red at rear. Reflector clean and proper colored, also red at rear. Tail lights clean, operating in proper color, red at rear again. Right rear turn signal operating in proper color, red, yellow, or amber at rear. License plates present, clean and secure. Splash guards present, not damaged, properly fastened, not dragging on, around, or rubbing tires. Cargo secure. Trucks, cargo properly blocked, braced, tied, chains, etc. Tailboards up and properly secure, and gates free of damage, properly secure in stacks. Socket canvas of tarp, if required, properly secure to prevent tearing, billowing, or blocking of either the review mirrors or red lights. Or rear lights, If other length or over width, make sure all signs and or additional light flags are safely and properly mounted, and all required permits are in driver's possession. Rear doors securely close, latch, and locks. Then it goes to your left side. Check all the items is done on right side. Plus batteries. If not mounted in engine compartment, battery box securely mounted for vehicle. Box has a secure cover. Batteries secure against movements. Batteries not broken or leaking. Fluids and batteries at proper level except maintaining free type. Vents in cell caps free or foreign material except maintaining free types. And then step 6, check signal lights, and then you'll get in and turn off lights, turn off all lights, turn on stop lights, apply trailer and brake, or have a helper put on the brake pedals. Turn on left turn signal light, get out of the check light. Left front turn signal light clean, operating in proper color, amber or white on signal facing the front. Left rear turns right, signal light and both stop light clean, operating in proper color, red, yellow, and amber. We always have that extra person around the block who likes to hear music loud for everybody else to hear it. Sorry for that. Turn on stop light, apply trailers, hand brakes, or have a helper put on the brake pedals. Turn on left turn signal lights, get out of the check lights. Left front turn signal lights clean, operating in proper color, amber or white, or signal facing the front. Left rear turn signal light and both stop lights clean, operating in proper color, which is red, yellow, or amber. Get in vehicle. Turn off lights, not needed for driving. Check for all requirement papers, trip, manifest, permits, etc. Secure all loose articles in cab. They might interfere with operating on the control or hit you in a crash. Start the engine. Step 7. Start the engine and check. Test for hydraulic leaks. If the vehicle has hydraulic brakes, pump the brake pedal 3 times, then apply firm pressure to the pedal and hold for 5 seconds. The pedal should not move. If it does, there may be a leak or other problems. Get it fixed before driving. If the vehicle has air brakes, do the check described in section 5 and 6 of this manual. So that's the step 7 that we're in. Brake system. Test parking brakes. Fasten safety belts. Set parking brakes. Power unit only. Release trailer parking brakes if applicable. Place vehicle in a low gear. Gently pull forward against parking brake to make sure that the parking brake holds. So you have to pull forward. Repeat the same step for the trailer with trailer parking brake set and power unit parking brake. Release if applicable. If it doesn't hold vehicle, it is faulty. Get it fixed. So it has to hold. And then test service brake stopping action. It says go about 5 miles per hour. Push brake pedal firmly. Pulling to one side or the other can mean brake trouble. So if you pull in firmly and it pulls in one side or another direction, means trouble. It can mean trouble. It says any unusual brake pedal feel or delay stopping action can mean trouble as well. If you find anything unsafe during the vehicle inspection, get it fixed. Federal and state law forbids operating an unsafe vehicle. Inspection during a trip. Check vehicles operating regularly. You should check instruments, air pressure gauges, if you have an air brake, temperature gauges, pressure gauges, ammeters, voltmeters, mirrors, tires, cargo covers, lights, etc. If you see, hear, or smell, or feel anything that might mean trouble, check it out. Safety inspection. Drivers of trucks and tractors, when transporting cargo, must inspect securement of the cargo within the first 50 miles of its trip and every 150 miles of every 3 hour, whichever comes first after. After trip inspection and report, you may have to make a written report each day on the conditions of the vehicle you drove. Report anything affecting safety or possibly leading to mechanical problems. So here we have like questions about what we just spoke about. It's like a little mini test here. And then it says test your knowledge. So let's see how we do testing our knowledge from what we read. You know, this is something that if you don't get it in the first try, just listen to it again and then try the test again. So this is the question to the test. This is how it starts. It says the vehicle inspection report tells the motor carrier about problems that may need fixing. Keep a copy of your report in the vehicle for 1 day. That way, the next driver can learn about any problems you have found. Question number 1. What is the most important reason for doing a vehicle inspection? Do you remember? If you don't remember how we say why inspect a vehicle? It says safety is the most important reason you inspect your vehicle. Safety for yourself and for the road users. A vehicle defected found during an inspection could save you problems later. That would probably be the answer. You know, would be safety for yourself and for others. That's what I would answer. So the second question that says here is, what things should you check during a trip? Do you remember the things? I know we had like a lot of going on in here, and there was a lot to check, a lot. But what things should you check during a trip? So you're on a trip out there, so what do you check? I'm giving you a few seconds so you guys can think of an answer, but I'm going to give you my answer to that. It might not be right, but this is what I'm going through, as the book goes through. And it says, during a trip, for safety, you should watch gauges for signs of trouble. Use your sense to check for problems. Look, listen, and smell. So you have to look, listen, and you have to smell. So it says, check electrical items when you stop, tires, wheels, rims, brakes, lights and reflectors, brakes and electrical connections to trailer coupling devices, cargo securement, etc. So that would be, any of those would be my answer to that. The thing about a motor vehicle is when you get a test, they usually give you their answers, like a lot of different answers, and you have to pick the best answers. So any of them that falls in these categories, that says your sense to check a problem, look, listen, smell, and feel, all those are really correct answers. So it will tell you what critical, like tires, wheels, rim, brakes. So you think about those things and say, okay, yeah, this make common sense. You're on the road, so this is something you would be able to check. It's not like you're going to do a full pre-trip like we just went through the whole book. We will have to do a full pre-trip when you first leave the base. But when you're on the trip, that would be something you might want to check. That would be my answer. And the third question is, name some key steering system parts. That's it. You have to name some system key steering part. Remember the image I showed you? It gives you the parts of steering. So, like nuts, bolts, cutter keys, tie rods, steering shaft, power steering cylinder, steering arm, spindle, steering knuckled, drag length, pitman arm, gearbox. This is what's on the image on the steering system. So that's what I would go by when it comes to the question, name some key steering system parts. It's only asking you about parts. It's not asking you about what you need to look for defects and stuff like that. So what are the key parts? So there's also different key steering parts, like key suspension parts. So it has the hydraulic shock absorbents, the leaf spring, the frame, the bearing, the vehicle frame, from axle handler, torque rod, axle mainspring, spring shackle. Then there's those. So you might really want to go with, I would say, the question was, what things do you check? No, what needs name some key steering system parts. So those are key suspension parts, the ones I just mentioned, which is the hydraulic shock. So those are suspension parts. So it didn't specify what kind of parts, but it says key. So let's go with that. That's what I would go for. But there's more. There's power steering. There's all the other things that you can go for, but that's what I would go for. The hydraulic shock absorbent, the leaf spring, the bearing plates, the frame. Those are parts to me. The next question is, name some suspension system defect. So you go back in the book and it has suspension system defect. It says the suspension system holds up to vehicles loads and keep axles in place. Therefore, broken suspension parts can be extremely dangerous. So it says, look for spring. There you go. There's the names of it. Spring hangers, movement for axles, proper positioning. And that is all that gives you for this part, or broken leaves, leaf springs. any of these, you can, if you see them in the test has an answer, those are, you know, some of them. Be careful with these tests because some of the answers might kind of like look like they're a part of them, and then they'll have this extra part that doesn't belong in there. So always kind of like try your best to remember something. The next one is, what 3 kinds of emergency equipment must you have? That kind of like make a common sense on it, because if you are on a vehicle, you know, what will you need? I would say I would need a fire extinguisher, the reflectors that go on the floor, you know, the 3 cones, you know, or the reflectors. So here in the book it says, let me see if I go, it says here, yeah. So it says fire extinguisher, spare electrical fuses, so you need to have that, you know, reflecting warning triangles, 6 fuses or 3 liquid burning flares. So yeah, that's sort of what I kind of like would say. So yeah, you know, that's what you would need for that question. So any of those would be the right answer. So question number 6 would be, what is the minimum threat depth for front tires, for other tires as well? So me going back into the beginning of the section where we learn about tires, it says, where it says tire problems, you know, it says bad wear. You need at least 4/32 inches depth threads in every major groove on front tires, and then you need 2/32 inches in other tires. No fabric should show through the thread of side wall. So that would be your answer to that question, I would say. Then question number 7 is, name something you should check in the front of your vehicle during the walk around inspection. So you know, something in front, which is like it says you should, during a trip, it's a vehicle inspection will help you find problems. So this is what 7, name something you should check on the front of your vehicle during the walk around inspection. So this is more like the pre-trip that you do. So while you do the trip inspection, you want to check critical items when you stop, like tires, brake lights, reflectors, brake and electrical connections to trailer coupling devices, cargo securement devices, wheels and rims, and then all again, look, listen, smell, and feel. Those are the answers to that one. You know, that's what I would choose, any of those. So any question, any answer that goes around those are the same. If you notice, kind of like we got the same question on the top, you know, like where it says what things should you check during a trip. So it's like the same questions, you know, that is asking you, but in different ways. So always pay attention to that when you're reading the questions and when you're in the motor vehicle taking the, you know, those tests, because it would confuse you. Some of them will confuse you. Then number 8 would say, what should wheel bearing sealed be checked for? So then you go back, you know, you'll have to go back, and I will look into where they were talking about the wheel bearings. This is like, question was, name some things you should check on front of your vehicle during, no, that's another one, sorry. What should wheel bearing seal be checked for? Why? What? No, not why. What should wheel bearing seal be checked for? What? So for damaged rims, rust around the wheel nuts, mainly the nuts are loose. You know, check tightness after tires have been changed, stop a short while, recheck tightness of nuts, missing clamps, space studs, mean, wheel or rims have had welding repairs, are not safe. They had welding repairs. So all for all those reasons. Sorry, I just brought some coffee and okay, so the next question they have here is, how many red reflecting triangles should you carry? It spoke about two different things, it spoke about the fuses and then it spoke about the reflector. So if we go back on the book, which is page 2-3, it says park vehicles, 3 reflective warning triangles or 6 fuses of 3 liquid burning flares. So I would say 3. So 3. Yeah, 3. And then the other one is, how do you test hydraulic brakes for leaks? So then we'll go back to the hydraulic area. And this is something I have to memorize. I'm like going with you in the book area, but it's something that we have to memorize, because when we go to take the test, we're not going to have the book here where we can go back and, back and forth and check what the answer to these questions are. So we might want to go back on the book. So again, how do you test hydraulic brakes for leaks? So, I'm like searching it in the book, so excuse, So it says on the key suspension, water, hydraulic for leak. Let's see, air suspension. So exhaust system defect, emergency equipment, cargo truck, approaching the vehicle inspection test. Not easy to find. This is something I have to look. I don't remember it, but you guys might remember it. But when I find it, I will let you guys know. Of course, it was hiding. It says test for hydraulic leak. If the vehicle has hydraulic brake pumps, the brake pedal. So you pedal 3 times and you apply firm pressure to the pedal and hold for 5 seconds. So if the pedal should not move. So if the pedal does move either side, there may be a leak. Okay, so that you might remember. Oh my god, it was right on my face. I was looking for it and I'm like, what the heck? But I found it. So yeah, and then the last question was this question 11. It says, why put the starter switch key in your pocket during the vehicle inspection? Yeah, why would you put the starter key in your pocket? Because you don't want to start the car? Not yet. The truck or the van or whatever it is that you're going for. No, there has to be a better reason than that. That's just something that came out of my head. We'll find the answer to that. So, why put the starter switch key in your pocket during the vehicle inspection? So we go to page 2.5, section 2.5, and it says, make sure the parking brake is set turn off in the engine and take the key with you. Turn on headlights, low beam, and four-way emergency flasher and get out of your vehicle. So this is go to front of the vehicle, check a low beam area and both of your four-way flashers are working. Turn off headlights, four-way emergency flasher, turn on parking clearance, walk around inspection, clean all light reflector and glass as you go along. That's all it says about your key from what I have read. So I don't see anything else. I may miss something, but you know, cargo properly locked. I did that. Cyber stake, oversized required flag. Yeah, that's all it says about. It says turn off engine and check light. That's it. That's why the key has to be in your pocket, I would say, because you have to keep your engine off to make sure that the make sure that the parking brake is set. Turn off the engine and take the key with you. It doesn't speak anything more about the key. It just says turn on headlights, low beams, and you know, basically what you got to do for the pre-trip. So I would say, you know, so the inspector knows that the engine is off. I don't know. So you guys might have a better answer than me, but the thing is that we're not making the answers to these questions, so we're not writing it in paper, pencil, like in school. They're gonna give you their answers and you're just gonna choose the most common proper answer to your test. And that is the only thing about that little mini test from section 2, and this is only section 2.1. So then there's section 2.2, which is the basic control of your vehicle. You know, this is another section. This section runs a lot more. This, you know, this pretty takes long. So I'm going to try to cut this book in little pieces, because to learn it, you have to cut it in little pieces. And especially these parts when it's speaking about inspections, pre-trip, post-trip, hydraulic situations. So as you notice, I did hit pause in some of my videos as we were doing the questions. I don't hide anything, so I let you guys know what I'm doing. So the reason I do that is because I can't find the answer myself. Like I couldn't remember it. So right now, all this that I read, and I'm reading it to you guys, and I'm like trying to absorb all this. I couldn't absorb everything. It's simple questions, and then when you look at it, you'll be like, yeah, I remember that now after you read it. But you know, it's something that when the question comes into the test, you know, you guys want to absorb all this information. Yes, it's a lot of information. When I first decided to take my CDO right here, you know, I'm doing it now. This is the first, actually. So when I first decided now to take my CDO, I said to my husband, and I said, babe, I don't think I'm going to absorb all this information. My brain does not function like when I was young, when I was in school and stuff like that. So I figured that maybe cutting it into pieces and going over the same video again, and then it's a lot of reading, but you know, you pay attention, you make notes. You know, I put an example of questions there, so you guys can well, this came with the book. You know, it gives you like these test your knowledge on certain things, so it gives you kind of like an idea of what they'll be asking you or things that they will be, you know. So this is important that you want to know the answers to. So once you test this, you know, and you get this whole thing up to date, then you'll be good. Then later at the end of this book, like at the end of every section that we do, there's gonna be a test. But it's a test for the Class B that I'm taking. You know, it's like a little test that they gave me for me to trying to figure out and see if I memorize the book, so I will go with it with you guys after we finish the class B completely. And then I recommend you guys to have like a pen and paper, and you guys can write the same questions. And don't write the answers to it, because if you write the answers, you'll be like trying to memorize just that answer. So write the question and go through it, like try to figure it out on your own, and then go to the book. And if you have to write the answers, go for it. I do have the answers to the questions that I'm taking the test for, but I have the answers separate. So I try not to focus on the answers at the moment. Like right now, we did this test and I did not look at one single answer. I'm just letting you guys know what I would do. I can't go back on the pages because the book will not be with us when we're taking the test, but we can really figure out how to get this closest answers to us. So, inspect the vehicle, the van, the truck, whatever. Just, you have to remember all those things. It's very hard to remember all these things, because when you have a normal car, well, the basics you would know, like, check the engine oil, your tire rods, you know that, the thread on your tires. You might not know exactly the amount of thread, but now so memorize that. But see, when I do inspection, I use a quarter. So you have a quarter, you'll know how depth of your tires is. But when you're on a test, you don't have a quarter to use it. So you have to know these things. So just try to memorize as much as you can. Your parking brakes, how your vehicle operates regularly, your after trip inspection report. Remember, you also will be asked like that stuff, so it can be easy questions in your first test, and you might pass through it and say, hey, I did it, easy peasy. But the next person that goes and get it doesn't get the same answers as you, because it switches. When I went to take my driving tests, I had some questions, and then when my sister went, the same questions I had were not the same questions she had. So they changed. So it's what would happen if you fail your test today. You'll have to take it again and answer those questions, different questions that are close to the questions you had first. So just make sure you memorize the book as much as you can. So right there, we're going to cut it here because section 2 is really big. So we're just going to cut it here. And I want you guys to just go over the video again and, and listen to it, like, and memorize it and stuff like that. If you can get the book in your, in your city, go for it and get it, and maybe you can study it together, with me. But I just want you guys to really get this in your brain. Like, I want to get it inside my head right now. Like, right now, if I continue reading and reading and reading, I don't think I'm going to learn anything, even if I read the questions. So I'm going to cut this here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to my first video, and then I'm going to listen to my second video, and I'm going to go again and I'm going to ask myself questions, that maybe I think that they will ask me. And I will also redo these questions without looking back into the pages, which here I went back into the pages with you guys, to try to remember some of the answers to these questions. But the next time I do it, I'm going to try to go back without looking into the book, and then writing the answers down in a piece of paper on my notebook. And then after that, then I'll double check and go back into the book and look into my notebook, see how close I am to the answer. If I'm not close enough, then I'll have to study more of that part. And that's what I recommend all of you guys to do at this time, is if you feel like you don't have the full answers to your questions, then study more. Go back to the same video. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it. It matters how much you sink it in. If you really want your CDL class, you will do the effort to go through learning process over and over again. It's like when I worked for the senior services. classes, they give you a monthly video of you learning safety, and every month is the same video. So sometimes we would go to the meetings and we'll be like, oh, this again, but it's to sink it in. Basically, we have to sink this information in because we have to be safe, and that's how mistakes happen. Sometimes we don't pay much attention to the way things that should be, and we should maybe pay a little more attention and not take those classes like a little joke and expect that we know everything. Yes, we do know the answers and how to be safe, but sometimes we don't. So I say let's get better, because we learn from our mistakes. We learn when we mess up somewhere, we learn from it. So we have to always be focusing on this. So if you really want your CDL class and you really want to learn this, I recommend you go over again the video, listen to it. You may not like how I pronounce the words in English because I'm not perfect at pronouncing every single word, but I try to pronounce the word as much as I can to my knowledge of how I would pronounce them. So right now you guys already had the full section 1, and this is section 2. Section 2 is huge. It's not really something that I can, like section 1 that I gave you in one. And section 1 took us about an hour. Section 2, if you notice, it's just about the same thing, with me speaking a little extra here. Focus, and you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I would like that at the end of this video, when I finish doing all this tests and I go take my test, my driving test, I will tell you, hey, I failed my first test, so we'll do it again. We'll figure out how to find another way of bettering this learning process. So it's okay to fail it. You will pay money but it's okay to fail it. If you do happen to fail it, don't give up, no matter how much it costs. If you really want something, you fight for it and you go all the way in. So I hope you guys are going all the way in, like I'm expecting to go all the way in. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching section 2. And that was section 2 until page 7. So this was only 7 pages of section 2. This is one before the first. This was the first test that we got in section 2. So that's how I stopped it this way. Plus it did take a little long in knowing these things, and I didn't do much talking when, like I did on my first video, that I explained a little bit of what I understood. But section 2, it's a bit long. The next thing that we will be reading in section 2 will be the basic control of your vehicle, like the accelerating, the steering, the stopping, the backing safely, the shift geared, proper positioning, and I'm reading over the pages here. Basic methods, knowing when to shift, engine speed, retarders, RETARDERS, that's a spell line, automatic transmission, multi-speed, and stuff like that. And then you'll have another test as well, from 7 to 10. So I'm going to try to do it that way, because I think we can learn something if we go piece by piece and day by day. So every single day I will try to give you a piece of one more page for you guys to learn. So have a nice day. Enjoy the rest of the day. It's beautiful outside today. I thought it was gonna rain, but hey, it's beautiful. It's a little muggy. If you notice, I'm a little sweaty here. I'm outside. It's a little muggy. It's not hot, it's just muggy. So I hope you guys have a nice day and you guys can enjoy the rest of this beautiful weekend. It is 8/6/22, the date, and over here is beautiful, and I hope it's beautiful wherever you guys are as well. So don't forget to subscribe and share the video if you guys want some other people to learn this as well. This is something that you won't find it on YouTube. I was looking for for myself to learn this and I didn't find it. So it's something that you guys might want to look into and study with me, you know. Bye.